Wowzers trousers. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Hello. I hope you're all doing okay. I have some tea today, and it's actually tea this time, not just sort of coffee that looks basically the same. So that's a good plus. So we're off to a good start. How have you all been? How has things been? I don't can't remember how it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't really remember, but a fairly long time. As these are meant to be every week, but we're here again. Uh, how's it going? All good. Nothing on fire. Oh, my shirt says I think it says Smash. It's from I think it's an Amori shirt. It's got a little Aubrey on it. It's quite sweet. Well, type of tea. It's PG Tips standard stuff really. It's the only thing we could really get from Amazon. So, but it's okay. Pyramid bags, good shape. So all fine. Hello YouTube. How you doing? Hello from Italy. Hello from Germany. How you doing? How's Italy? We want Turkey to be in the game. Well, you might want Turkey to be in the game. I don't think you can speak for everyone, but maybe it'll be nice, but not objectively the best decision. What are we smashing? Nothing in particular. It's just a reference to a game that I played a while ago and quite liked. I don't think anything in particular. Can't really see, but it's quite a good one. Um, I want ham in the game. Okay, that's fine. Why mobile phone bad though? Because it took ages to get the authenticator working to get the channel logged on, so I put mobile phone bad on there. Hello from Russia. Hello from Germany. Hello from Romania. Very nice. When is mass being removed? Not sure what this means. Hello from Korea. Hello from Sweden. Hello from Indonesia. Hello from Slovakia. Everyone here today. Fantastic. Nice to all see you. Nice to see you. How's it all going? Very nice. Um, Malaysia, Canada, very cool. Iraq as well, Hungary, Finland. Man. Brazil, BR. Very nice. Very cool. Well, I'm glad to see you all here. Hello from football. Hello back to you there. Excellent. So, yeah, this stream, as I sort of neglect to explain what it is basically every time I do it, for the next 3 hours, we can basically talk about War Thunder, whether it's strictly gameplay advice, what vehicle should you use for this, how does this work, etc., or anything else. But bear in mind, I can't tell you anything that's unreleased or any sort of secret information, how anything behind the scenes works. I can't really do that. Maybe sometimes within reason, but I can't tell you when this is coming, if this is coming, blah 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 blah. So yeah, strictly about what's in the game right now and that kind of thing. So yeah, Australia as well. Look at this. Everyone is here. This is amazing. Okay, we've got some of the meme places here now. Um, it was good while it lasted. UK, very nice. Rhodesia, that is very funny. Um, yes, I look like I've seen some things. Well, I mean that's strictly true. I've seen many things. Not too many, granted, but a fair amount on the grand scheme of things. It's not an earring. It's an ear cuff, not sort of on my ears, but they're sort of knocking about there. Will Godzilla be brought back? Maybe in the future for something. I don't really know when or if that will be though. Um, entire world is here. It seems that way, which is quite sweet. I'm glad everyone's here. Um, help. How can I change the creator support code? What do you mean? I'm not sure what the issue is there. New video from you soon. Yes, I'm waiting for one thing to happen. The video is almost done. I have all the voiceover done and all the footage. I need like about 2 or 3 days to edit it, and I need to wait for something. If the thing I need to wait for takes too long, I'll probably release the video twice. I'll have like one unlisted one so everyone can watch it if they're really interested, and I'll wait for what I need to wait for to put it in the main video. So hopefully it shouldn't be too long. It should be finished within about a week or so. Is the mouse going to be removed? Yes, from research it will be. As long as you have a little bit of research into it, though, it'll be fine. You can keep it if you don't have it. Yes. Uh, let's see. Have you heard of the death? I have not. No. Sounds very nice though. Where the Xbox sales, that depends entirely on Microsoft. We don't really have much onus on whether or when those actually occur, um, which is a bit annoying, but it just has to be the case. We basically need to go through Microsoft and respectively Sony for any particular sales, and if there is any roadblocks in getting them done in tandem with the PC, it's not because we want it to be at a different time, it's that it takes longer to go through their stages. So I'm not sure when they will be, but it's not because we want them to be later. It's just that probably that there's some issues in the way of getting them out right now, but it's not really an active choice on our part to do that. Hello from the Rubik Cube world. Very cool. You click the link to support someone and buy a pack. It is written support Just Play TV. I have no idea about that actually. Maybe I don't even know that's worth how you bug report that. I'm not sure on that one. Leave it with me though. I'll make a note of that. Also, very briefly, I'm going to go and close the door because there's some noise that you can probably hear. Maybe I'll be like 10 seconds. Okay, all good. All good. He dead? No such luck. Okay. The original post said we'd be informed on the 8th. Again, it's not something that's in our control. If you're relying on somebody else for something to happen by a particular date and they don't really deliver on it, then there's very much not really a lot you can do. I don't know if there'll be an official announcement. It might just be the case that it's delayed by, day, hour, I'm not sure. But there's nothing I can really do about that right now. If someone had 10,000 points when you read the Minecraft joke book, I will, yes. I will. Okay. You got the prefect role? Very nice. I'm glad. Very nice. E100 when? Probably won't come back. Well, it may come back in the future, but only for tournaments. You'll never be able to buy it or just research it. It's only something you'll be able to get as a reward from performing in tournaments. Hello from my bathroom. Very nice. I hope it's a nice bathroom. Oxy ear reveal. Yeah, you can rarely see my ears. They're usually sort of covered by hair, but they're not today. Okay. Gramercy? Yes. Saw an E100 yesterday. Yeah, they're quite rare, but there's actually a lot of them floating around. It's not the rarest tank in the game. I think the Sublind is still the rarest. Yeah, quite a few people have the E100 actually. Will the French naval tree be added? Yeah, it will be. I don't know when that will actually happen, but it's something that will probably inevitably come. They had quite an extensive navy. So, yeah, I would have thought so, but I don't know when. Again, I can't really give out any information that may or may not be, in the works, not in the works. It's not something I can comment on. How good are you in War Thunder? I mean, this isn't really the forum to speak about such things. Apart from some things I got through the CC program and some things I just paid GE for, I've played and spaded every vehicle in the game. I'd say like confidently about 95% of them. Some of them I got for free because before I started working for Gaijin, I was a content creator, so I got free stuff from time to time. But everything else I've spent a lot of time working on. So yeah, I'm decently well versed in pretty much all areas. Not so much the jets. I don't play jets too much, but everything else is pretty clued in. It's not about being good. It's about learning. Well, they're sort of synonymous in that sense. Not really mutually exclusive. What nation you start with? I think I picked America back in the day. I just thought they had a lot of vehicles I didn't really know much about, so I picked those to kind of learn bits and bobs. Will you marry me? Well, it's certainly not impossible. I mean, the world is a strange place. Any advice for the T3485? Yeah, it's well, I really like the T3485. I think a lot of people, it is sort of left behind a little bit in the technology department, but it's still a really capable vehicle. Obviously, you'll want to use the A round once you get it. Don't use the K round. The K round is not really good against angles, and with a round like that, you want the angle performance. It's what makes that round really, really good. So in that sense, aiming for quite angled armor is pretty useful because you can get right through the Panther, the lower plate, or the lower side plate of the Tiger. All of that works quite well. Um, a lot of the advice for that tank is quite rudimentary. A lot of it is on map knowledge, but of course you are going to want to prioritize any particular kind of flat ground because obviously no gun depression. But you don't need me to tell you that. Um, it's a vehicle that works quite well in being aggressive because although the armor's not particularly strong on the surface, it's quite good if you're basically forcing an enemy to shoot at you because a lot of the areas of the turret are quite bouncy. Even the hull can be bouncy as well if you're slightly angled. Um, so it works being aggressive like that. It's not a vehicle that is necessarily good at being passive. If an enemy has an easy shot on you, the armor doesn't work too well. But if you're on the move and you're angled, it can be a bit harder. So that's a good way to go. And it's really the only thing you can do to maximize the efficiency of the armor. Um, the only real drawback in being well very aggressive, especially if you're using the D5T version, is the reload is quite long. So one-on-one brawling can be a bit difficult if you do miss a shot because your enemy will likely reload faster than you. So that can be an issue. But apart from that, a lot of it is on map knowledge and just making sure that you're avoiding any kind of angular terrain in sort of elevation. And apart from that, you just need to make sure that the enemy is not getting an easy shot on you. So keep on the move if someone's looking at you or trying to shoot you. As long as you keep moving and move at an angle, your armor will be the most effective it can be. That's probably what I would go with. It's quite not to sort of be, I guess, trying to simplify it too much, but it is quite an easy vehicle to, just drive out, hold W and click on stuff. I also breathe now. I often forget that. Do you happen to listen to and or like My Chemical Romance? I think I probably listened to them like 10 years ago, but it's not something I listen to much anymore. Um, it's something I'd probably listen to like, I don't know if it's in my YouTube playlist, but it's not something I actively listen to. Question: does Russian bias exist? No, it does not. Afternoon to you too. Is the T90? Oh, excuse me. Is the T29 worth it? In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. As a vehicle, yes. As a product, also yes, but a little bit less so. The issue with Tier 4 premiums is that they don't have as much value anymore because Tier 5 is so small. There aren't really very many vehicles in Tier 5 comparatively, but there are a lot in Tier 6. I can't remember, but I think there's only about, what, 1, 2, 3. I want to say there's about 9 or so for Tier 5 America, but I think maybe a bit less. But there's not very many. So if you buy the T29, obviously you can research everything below rank 4, but you can only research one rank up. And because Tier 5 is so small, and because Tier 6 is so big, Tier 4 premiums miss out on a lot of potential. You could, though, use it to get Tier 5 and then put some talismans on Tier 5 vehicles and go that way. But it can be a little, it's not the best product in terms of longevity, the T29. If you want to play at 7.0 and you want to make a 7.0 lineup and play a lot of that lineup, then it's definitely a good vehicle to use. But if your end goal is to get to the highest tier quickly, it can be a little harder in terms of justifying buying it because it's a vehicle that will work in up tiers to an extent. The gun will still work fine, and because of how spaced out the crew are, it can be decently forgiving. But in terms of working well beyond its tier, not so much. The T114 is better in that sense. But for a 7.0 lineup and using a lot of, using the 7 lineup and trying to get lots of lions, it can be really, really good. So I think it depends on your preference and what you want from it. If you want a vehicle for lions, absolutely worth it. If you want to get to top tier as quick as possible, maybe leave it, I would say. Can you draw on your mug? I can, but there's no chalk here. Hang on. Okay. See, it's odd. This time Twitch chat's being weird. It's usually YouTube. Thanks, YouTube. You've redeemed yourself. Why was SU11 and SU9 added, since it's a basic copy of German ME262? That's a bit of a non-question, because, I mean, vehicles are added in the game that are similar to others all the time. They don't really function the same. The 11 and 9, despite being inspired by the 262, function very differently. They have different speeds, different maneuverability, different armament. They're only really similar in the historical provenance. They're also in a different tree. I don't really know why that's a question, to be honest. That's very peculiar. What flavor is the tea? PG tips. So quite, regular in terms of tea, but quite nice. Is the Tiger 2 105 obtainable? It isn't. It probably won't be obtainable again. For the reason that it was removed because it's an ahistorical design. It's sort of conceptualized in the war, but it's not it wasn't implemented in such a way that was realistic or true to life. So because of that, it was removed, and adding it back even temporarily kind of defeats the point of removing it. So I don't think it'll come back. Stop looking at the screen like that? Like what? It's just where I'm looking to keep my eyes on the question. What do you mean? Would you like the SU11 Scrap NBR? I would, yes. It's an incredibly easy plane to use. I think it's probably worth going up. I don't know why it was downside in the first place, to be honest. Yes, Alonso, this is basically a Q&A. So I can actually put gameplay on the background if you'd like. Actually, let's do that. Some tanks. I do have some more. But I'll put that on next week, I think. When comes the Panther 2 back? It will probably never come back, for the same reason the KT 105 won't come back. Can we get the Vulcan? No. When America Tier 4? The video will be done within a week. But I need to wait for something else to happen before I can upload it. Although, as I said a bit before, I'll probably upload it unlisted before the announcement I need to make. Just so if you really want to watch it, you can watch it soon. I'm speaking very quickly today. It's like I'm rapping. That's bad. You like the Sherman tank? Yes. Shermans are incredibly good vehicles. The short stabilizer is drastically underutilized. Drastically. Do you get salary in Golden Eagles? I don't know. That would be quite nice. Why no Vulcan? It's a vehicle that wouldn't really work in the layout of the game right now. A vehicle like the Vulcan will either be kind of useless or too good. It's a vehicle that's very difficult to balance in the way that matches are currently laid out. So I would imagine that's why it's not in the game right now. I can't really say if it will be in the game in the future. Maybe it will be. But right now, if it were to be added tomorrow, it wouldn't work. So I would say that's why. I buy bundle all packs $400. Very nice. I mean, in ME262 has already been copied twice by Japan in the game, well, once. So why make a better plane, SU11, such a biased plane in comparison to late ME262? I don't know what you're trying to say. It's a different vehicle that plays in a different way that existed in real life. It's an interesting vehicle that has a place in the other tree. I don't understand what argument you're trying to make. Unless the argument is I don't want Russian planes to be good, which is not really an argument in the first place. Hello, Donut Boy. Don't know why I said that. Oh, this is a good one. Which plastic surgeon did you use to get such a botched job? I kind of take that as a bit of a compliment, actually, so thank you. That's a bit of a lazy one, but it's better than what we usually get, so thanks for that. Will the PO2 ever be premium? Probably not. I don't know why. I mean, maybe there was another version available, like a Night Witches version or something. We could probably do that. But the version that we have right now will always be in the tech tree. Will we ever see Oceania servers? Probably not. I mean, it's not an impossibility, but at the same time, it's not likely, I would say. Why are people so mean to you? There's many reasons. But I don't really want to make this about me by talking about them. Depends, though. If people get meaner, then we can do it. But okay. Should I play Japan ground vehicles? Yeah, you should. I mean, you should play everything that you want to. I mean, it depends what you want from the game. If you want one particular thing, maybe Japan ground won't be that good. If you know, it depends. I mean, they've got some really strong vehicles, some strong lineups. Some of it's kind of weak. They have some weak lineups. It's not a very consistent tree, I would say, but all things considered, it's pretty good. I quite like it. They've got some very interesting vehicles. I want BRD compression, question mark. Okay. In theory, it's a good thing, and in practice, not so much. There's some more work that needs to be done before that can even really be considered. You know, I don't want to kind of be mean or whatever, but just saying BRD compression doesn't. There's nothing that can really come from that. It's not something that's as simple as spread it out. There are many other implications of that being implemented right now, and it would really well. It's a difficult topic to talk about because obviously there being someone who works for Gaijin directly in the German HQ here, there's reasoning that goes into not implementing that right now, and I do understand the issues that would come up if it were to happen. So I think there is something that needs to happen. Well, some things that need to happen before that can be considered, but it's not something that's never going to happen. If I were to guess, but it's not my area, so I really have no idea. But that's sort of my guess on it. Love your shirt, thank you. Do you get what it's from? I can show you actually. You may be able to guess what it's from if you've played it. Okay. What if we had a lower BR with World War One tanks? Wouldn't work. World War One tanks aren't really suited to fighting each other in any capacity. Yeah, it's the sort of thing that is more likely to come to enlisted. I don't know if it ever will, but it's incredibly unlikely to ever come to War Thunder. Let's see. I've missed a lot of comments here. Why is the Jumbo 76 at 6.3 but the Jagdpanther's at 6.0? Because the Jumbo 76 is one of the best 6.3s in the entire game. And the Jagdpanther, despite being very strong from the front, is very easy to misplay and not the most suited for most maps. The Jumbo is incredibly versatile and has advantages over basically everything it can fight. And the Jagdpanther, despite being very strong in the right situation, isn't always going to be in a match where the right position is available in the first place. So that's really the reason why I had to guess. Hi. Hello, cat. Smiley face. How's it going? Joe, the Macavers will stay in the American tree, but all the premiums will eventually be moved to the Israeli tree and removed from sale in their respective trees. But I believe the aircraft will be removed as soon as the air tree comes out. and the tanks will be removed when the tank tree comes out. Sick, you need to try much harder than that to insult me. I mean, this is lazy. You can do better. I'm disappointed in you. Actually, I'm expecting too much from YouTube chat, but maybe they'll come up with something good. We'll see. Elxie, not gonna stick to the stream because I'm at university right now. Just stop by to say happy day to you and chat. Have fun. Thank you. Hope university's going well. Thank you for taking the time to come in. I appreciate that. Much love. Okay. Do you think the French Navy will be released in the next year? Maybe. I'm not sure. It sort of depends on, when everything will be ready and, well, basically that really. There's no kind of set timeline. Glossed right over my question later. Please don't be so entitled. There are many questions being asked every second pretty much, and I can only focus on one at a time. If I don't answer your question the first time and that makes you want to leave, then by all means. But, you're welcome to ask it again, but that's up to you. It's not a piercing. I always have this, but because my hair is quite long, you often won't be able to see it. It is there. They're sort of cuffs. So you can kind of put them on and off. I've had them for quite a while, but please kill me. The man flu has taken hold. Oh no. Godspeed. You need lots of tea and some beers in the evening. That's how I used to deal with it. Will be in War Thunder Polish Tree? Not sure. Again, I don't think it's an impossibility, but I'm not sure, if we're really likely going to be seeing any more trees in the future. Maybe though. I don't know. Your eyebrows are longer than the Nile River. I mean, that's not... I mean, whether that's an insult or not, it's gotta make sense. I mean, do you know how eyebrows work? I don't get this. I mean, we're sort of getting really avant-garde with the comments today. I mean, at least it's different than usual, so that's something. How long would you say we have to wait for the Tomcat and the vehicles it will face? No idea. I don't really know if or when things like that are coming. I think it's an inevitability that things like that will eventually come to the game. But I don't really know if it's going to be soon or sooner rather than later. I'm not sure. No idea. Is it a Mori? Yeah, it is a Mori. I quite like the Mori. There's a lot of people that kind of like to detract from it as a game, but I think, it was quite a sweet experience and I enjoyed it, so I thought I'd get a couple of tops. Hello Bob, how are you? I'm doing okay. When remove M15? Probably never. Not a great vehicle, but it's there, I guess. There's always going to be some vehicles that aren't that great. Any advice on how to counteract the ever-increasing length of the grind? Don't treat the game like a job, is basically how you do that. Excuse me. So, yeah, that's basically the short answer. I think if you treat the game as if getting to the end of the line is the goal, then you're going to get annoyed when you fail and you don't research as much as you want to, because any loss is a setback. And so if you treat the game like that, in that you're playing to generate currency and that kind of thing, then you will eventually just get jaded and tired and annoyed about it. The value of the game as a product is the progression? No, it's not. That's a completely subjective element to it. No one here can say, as a black and white, a comment that that's the case. It isn't. People can play this game and only be interested in World War II stuff, and they can get that quite simply and have a good time. If someone comes to this game and I don't know, only wants to play the Abrams, then it's going to be more difficult to get there. But it's not as black and white a comment as that. Like, I approach the game in a different way from other people. People approach the game in a different way to me, and it's not my place or your place to say that any particular person is approaching the game correctly, because there's no way to approach it. It's a free-to-play title that appeals to many different people in different ways, and it's not as simple as that. Separate World War II and Cold War. It's not really something that's feasible anymore, I think. Maybe back in the past it could have happened, but now, because of all the premiums and the way the game is structured, it's not really it's not really feasible, I guess, to implement it right now. Is there a way how to get your money back? Yes, go to support, explain your situation, and I'll be able to help. How deep can you dig in Warfare? Deep? I think it's 1.5 meters, I think. I can't remember. Excuse me. Too much tea. Why wouldn't all the vehicles be for free then? Well, because it's a free-to-play game that, needs to make money somehow. And, one of the easiest things to kind of monetize like that is a system of progression. It works for plenty of other things. You have World of Tanks. You've got even Call of Duty has progression with the weapons you can unlock. Granted, it doesn't take as long, but with the amount available in the game, and just the sheer wealth of stuff that you have, it's not really unreasonable to have it set up in the way that it is. It just depends on how you approach it, and I think there's not necessarily correct or incorrect ways to approach it, but there are healthy and less healthy ways to approach it. And it all really depends on that. How to shoot main gun while the gunner is out? It depends on the vehicle. Tanks that have commander gunner control can still fire if the gunner's knocked out, but not every vehicle has that. Mostly modern stuff. Why is Flak Panzer 341 at BR like Kugelblitz is? I don't know what you mean. They don't have the same BR. Unless I've completely forgotten which one's which. The Coelian's still 6.3, look, I can't remember. How do you feel about spawn camping? It depends how you differentiate, because if you consider spawn camping and spawn pushing the same thing, it's a tricky point to talk about. Spawn pushing generally is not something I have much of an issue with, because on some maps, just on how they're laid out, if you lose the map as a whole, there's nowhere else for the enemy team to go, and then it just becomes a case of, do you sit in front of the spawn and shoot the enemies as they spawn, or do you wait 10 seconds behind the spawn and kill them when they drive 10 seconds further? It's a non-issue really. If the intention is to go to the spawn even though you haven't won the map, then that's kind of gross. But if you have won the map and there's nowhere else to go, then I don't really see an issue with it. Some maps like Sinai, for example, once you've won your lane, or like Finland as well, once you've won your lane, there's no way to really progress. You're facing the spawn. You can kind of drive away and hold a position further back, but you're basically just letting the enemy get a better shot into you like that. So yeah, there's different ways of approaching it. It's not exactly a black and white question, I guess, in that sense. But spawn pushing, completely fine with how the game works. Spawn camping, don't do that. When was the last time you slept? Last night. Is that a shocking revelation? I quite like RLC actually. It's a vehicle. What am I saying? I don't really know why I like it. I haven't played very much of the map, but I do quite like it for what it is. I like that the middle of the map has a lot of ability to control the other areas. You have urban combat in the middle, long range combat on the left side, and kind of staggered combat on the right. So there's basically an area for every vehicle type to work on. It's pretty good. I like it so far. Is the Flak Panzer 341 an event vehicle? No, it used to be in the tree, but it was removed because it was functionally a mock-up. It didn't really exist in the current configuration. So that's why it's removed. Will South Africa get its own tree? Nope, it will remain a sub-tree in the UK. UK tree. What would you think of an Australian M1 Abrams being added to the US or even the UK tree? Um, Maybe it could be like a squadron vehicle for the UK, but I don't know. I mean, it would certainly add a play style to the UK, and because the UK commonly fights with the US anyway, I don't think it will be too much of a problem. Um, yeah, I think something like that could be fun. If it's a squadron vehicle or something. Um, I play like 2 matches a day. Okay. One thing I will say though, just in general about maps, and I guess with the RLC as well, is that if the map's only been out a week, 2 weeks, and you're already trying to kind of analyze it and work out if it's good or not, the general case is that you probably just haven't learned how to play it yet. And I think that's why a lot of people like old maps and don't like new maps. Obviously, we can talk about that a bit further. But if you play Vietnam 5 times and die 5 times, you're probably going to think it's a bad map. But it's generally because you haven't played it enough to work out where to go on it. Um, and I think that's the case for a lot of the new maps. People will just decide they're bad because they haven't really given it the time. Although a lot of the newer maps are, I believe, I don't know any in terms of any concrete information, but from my perspective, they're designed in a very in a different way. In that they're designed, well, I don't know. It's unfair of me to say they're designed in such a way because I don't know if that's the case. They feel like they're structured in a way that makes it harder for you to stay alive. They have a lot more sight lines and less kind of areas to kind of sit and camp in. So you have things like, Sweden cargo port. These are maps that basically have, well, at every road you drive down, there are different sight lines that are available. And so you can get shot in the side much easier, and it's harder to kind of sit at the end of a road or in a defilade and snipe at stuff and survive the game. I think that's probably part of it. So I can certainly concede that point, but I think generally I wouldn't make your decision on a map before you've really given it enough time to work out how to play it. From my perspective, anyway. There's no need to get defensive, Heartsy. Don't worry. I'm not assuming you don't know how to play the map, but I will assume that as it's only been out for a few weeks, you're not going to be able to work out how to use it exactly within that time. Every map's different in that sense, and there's no need to be so defensive about that point. I would honestly just say give it enough time and play it in different areas, different BRs. I mean, there's so much that goes into defining something like that based on what you're playing and where you're playing it, that it's not as black and white as you're presenting it, and that's the issue I'm trying to talk about here. Will IS-7 come back? Probably not in terms of in it being earnable because it's on the marketplace. It's more something that will be, well, I would probably say it won't come back in an earnable format again, but it's not my place to say that. I don't know. But as it's on the marketplace and people have already paid quite a bit of money for it, it would sort of be unfair to those people, if you know what I mean, if it's added back in that sense. So probably not. Hello, Chloe. How are you? Is Yamato too overpowered in Navy? If it were to come out right now, then yeah, but I don't really know too much about ships in general like that, so I wouldn't be able to say concretely, but right now probably not. Will South African jets be coming to the game like the Cheetah? I have no idea, but I quite like to see them. They do have some interesting vehicles. Generally, they got a lot of the kind of the less effective British stuff in the war, but they've got some interesting stuff, so it would be nice to see. It would be nice to see. I have realised that you're here. Hello. How are you doing? You brought up Vietnam. I have to say I love the map. It's just I always have the worst team. Yeah, I mean, for maps like Vietnam, it's quite an easy map to misplay, I think. There's a lot of areas that are very easily accessible that don't offer you much advantage. And so I think that's probably a big part of why a lot of newer players don't approach it right. And I think that's probably why it's a bit too early to judge RLC in that sense, because most players are going to be quite casual towards the game, and if you're just driving out and into a new map, I mean that's what you do, isn't it? You just kind of drive out and see, pick a place, drive until you see combat, and even if you're trying to analyze the map, the majority of people don't really know how to use it yet, so they're just going to be playing it in a very random way. And if you're getting spawn camped a lot on that map, it's probably because the team aren't holding the map very well because they don't know how it works. And, those sort of things adjust with time. It's like when a new Call of Duty comes out and you play a map you've never played before. It's the best locations, best sight lines. It's going to take a while for people to adapt to that. And so the map experience you have isn't going to be, the same on day one as it's going to be on day 360. So it's not as simple to talk about it like that. What's your favorite tank appearance-wise? I don't know, actually. I'm really not sure. I'm not good at sort of basing stuff aesthetically like that. So I'm honestly not sure. I quite like boxy stuff. So, I would say the Tiger, but that's quite boring. I'm not sure. Don't think I can read that one. Let me see. I keep missing a lot of... again, like, if I've missed your comment, I'm not ignoring you. It's just that there's a lot to kind of talk on and get through. So if I don't answer, feel free to ask it again, as long as it's not being spammed every 5 seconds, because I will just filter that out. But yeah, by all means, ask it again if I miss. I'll take a second to breathe as well, because I'm not very good at that. Sound like a nice guy. Thank you. I appreciate that. That is nice of you to say. I appreciate. No console sales? Not right now. But as always, the sales on console are not down to us. We can't just go to Microsoft or Sony and say, hello, we want this on this date. They have basically the say on when that happens. So if there's a particular hold up on that front, it's not an active choice on our part. It's that Microsoft or Sony have an issue with it in some form or another, as far as I understand anyway. Yeah, it's not on us on that sense. Hey Caboose, it's PG Tips today, so quite simple. Quite a simple tea, but nevertheless, a nice one. Can't complain whatsoever. Advice for a player who stopped playing because of the grind that wants to come back. I think it's the same thing I always say, I guess, but it's how you approach it. And I think there are better ways to approach the game that don't focus on, the progression itself. Obviously, with some people, that's the game. Getting the next thing, getting the next thing, getting the next thing. But it doesn't really have to be. And I think people get so angry with this game after a while when they focus just on getting the next thing and getting the next thing. Because any loss is a setback. You've effectively lost time if your goal is to get RP. And I think, it's hopefully you can appreciate the difficulty with this is that it's not my place to tell you how to approach the game. I can't in any way say that, you are approaching it wrong or your perspective of the game is wrong. It's not fair of me to do that, and it's not fair for anyone to do that. But the reason why I've managed to play this game from basically day one until, now, is that I've never really treated it like a job or like a task. It's always just been the case of playing what I want to play and getting decals, getting camos, like setting myself little tasks and that kind of thing. Because, my way of looking at it is that if you kind of set yourself a task of, I want to spade this vehicle, I want to get this camouflage, I want to get this decal, I want to get this medal or whatever. If you do that and that's your goal, you will basically make incremental progress towards that task. And at the same time, you will passively make progress towards the next vehicle you want to unlock, in that that will always happen as a secondary to whatever task you set yourself. You know, get all the camos on the the T25, for example. And so if you do that, the progression to the next vehicle will come naturally, and that's how I approached it. Maybe they shouldn't call them daily tasks. I'm not talking about daily tasks, and even then, that's a very peculiar semantic argument to make. There's no urgency with that. There's no need to, play daily tasks. I mean, I'm talking about doing it for yourself. Spading a vehicle, you can do that at your own accord. No one's forcing you to do that. It's completely on you. And by taking that approach, you basically set the goal that you want. There's no one basically saying, to play this game, you need to get the next vehicle, and that should be your only task. And I think it's an unhealthy way to approach the game. But again, it's not my place to say that. Can you unlock camos without using GE? Yes, on most vehicles, there's camos that you can unlock. For every tank, you can unlock a camo. For planes, a lot of them have camos you can get by getting kills. Some of them are only GE. But every tank in the game, pretty much, I think, apart from like some premiums, you can get camos for just by playing and getting kills. The video will be finished within a week, but I need to wait for something to happen before I can release it. But I may release it twice in that sense. Excuse me. I'll probably release it unlisted so that people can watch it now if they want, but I'll wait to release it properly for like a bigger thing. If you want a battle pass vehicle with the time you have in your day to do so, yeah, but there's no obligation to play the battle pass. It's an optional thing that's there if you want it. And it's optional content that you don't need. If you can't justify the time to unlock it, then no one, and I will say this, but I don't, please don't take this the wrong way, is that nobody is entitled to time-limited content in that sense. It's not something that's, you will just have for the sake of it. There are plenty of things in the game, a huge portion of it that you can just have and, unlock that's always going to be there, always there through time. It's an extra thing that you can have if you have either the time or you want to, put the money into it if you want it. It's not a requirement, and I think there's a strong distinction there. It's not something that everyone can just have, I guess. In that sense. Hello, Oxy, we're having a well today. Thank you. I hope you're doing well too. Nice to see you. I really like having the options to play different nations and vehicles. Let's play whatever sounds good fun. Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to approach the game. Is that you really limit yourself in this game if you play one nation in many ways, because you'll eventually reach a roadblock. You'll probably get burnt out, and then you're gonna get frustrated. Playing multiple nations means that you can change it up whenever you like. And I think being adaptable in that sense is really important. Excuse me. And so, yeah, being able to play whatever you like is really, really nice and really useful, I think. For many reasons that I think I talk about too much. But yeah, I really, really, really think that's a good way to approach the game. Junior, yes, I'm reading Twitch and YouTube. I kind of just flick between them and pick a question that I can answer most of the time. Did I say hello to Abigail? I'm not sure I did. In any case, hello. I'm not sure if I did do that. But hi. What's your favorite beer? I'm not sure. It might be Delirium Tremens, but I haven't had that for a really long time, and it's quite expensive. But I really like that beer. I think that's what it's called. I think Slick got me onto that back in the day. Really, really good beer. Really, really good. Do you like the new Armored Pershing? The T26E5 has been one of the easiest vehicles I've ever played. I think in recording footage for the video, I don't think I was frontally penetrated once. I think in my recording, I think I had a 6-kill game, a 9-kill game, an 8-kill game, and a 24-kill game, and I died once to a bomb. I felt bad playing it. It's a vehicle that's very, very difficult to balance because it's kind of like the T32, in that because it doesn't really have any frontal weak spots, it can't be too low a BR because there are vehicles that just can't touch it. So it's going to be difficult, and I think it was implemented at a BR that would have been fair if its armor layout wasn't buffed the way it was. I think it was released a bit too early, if I'm honest. But yeah, it's a tricky one, but I really like it in any case. Sorry for missing comments. Would you suggest rushing or standing ground? It depends entirely on the map and what vehicle you're using. I don't think having a universal kind of approach is that workable, because some vehicles you shouldn't rush in, some vehicles you should. And it also depends on the map as well. So I think it just comes down to reading the situation rather than having a kind of universal way of approaching it. What do you think about the 20k repair cost on the Super Pershing? I think it's excessive. Also, I think it's 18.5, not 20. But even so, it's a lot. I think now that it's 6.7, it could probably go down a bit. But at the same time, I really think that thing deserves a lower reload. I mean, historically, I can appreciate that loading the T41 round in an enclosed turret will take a while. But in the game, it has the same reload as the T29. Obviously, the T29 has 2 loaders, but it's a lot. Like, the gun is an analog in some ways, less post-pen damage, but it's an analog to the Long 88. And the Long 88 on a heavy platform has a, 9.7 second reload? So it's really, really long. I can appreciate that historically it was a problem loading that round, but I think it's one of those things where historical liberties can be taken. I would shave off the reload, and I think if a bit of the reload is shaved off from that tank, it's going to be a lot better. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? I keep forgetting to breathe. Can you tell? Terrible. Man, crazy how it'd be that way. My phone has just told me that a year ago today I took a picture of a crab. Okay, thanks for that. Why is my phone telling me that? Oh yeah, actually this is a picture of a crab holding hands with another crab. Man, the world was a strange place back in 2018. Jesus. So I'm missing a lot of comments. Feel free to ask them again if I miss it. Also, America just gets smacked by Russia? I don't think so. Not in every BR anyway. What lineup are you using? Why am I holding my head like this? It took me a while to realize I was doing that. Strange. Show us the crab pic. I don't think you can really see it. It's quite a dark picture. But I can try and show you. Crabs. I never identified the frog either. No, never happened. Will there be a Romanian tech tree? Probably not. I think the old plan was that, old plan as in that's the last information I heard about it, was that Italy would get the minor Axis nations in some form. So I think that's probably most likely the case. I don't think they'll get their own tree. I think crabs are quite cool. I don't know, I just find them interesting. I used to go crabbing when I was younger. You'd like get some bacon on like a line and chuck it in the sea and you pull up loads of crabs. I just found that fun. And crabs are quite, I know, they're weird. They're just a weird creature, but they're just kind of interesting, I don't know. Why T25 don't have stabilization, I believe, because there were two versions of it made, and the version we have is a kind of collective of both. Um, so I think it's the well, I think it's the case that it was removed to make the T25 model we have the most accurate it can be. Um, I believe the model will probably see a rework in the future, as well as well, the introduction of the other version. I think that's probably not unlikely to happen, but I don't know. I can't really comment on that as an absolute for now. Um, Good morning, Leroy. How are you doing? Hello, Blitz. I'm doing okay. How are you? Uh, Anytime, any way to meet you and mic off the code thing? Maybe in the future we can do some kind of meeting thing, like an unofficial thing. I don't know if we will, but we could do. That could be kind of fun. I don't think I could probably give any ideas for that right now. But I don't think it's an impossibility. We can probably do some kind of like unofficial meet for something in the future. Uh, why am I getting in games with Tiger 2H in my 5.7 IS2? Well, the way up tiers work effectively is that you have a 25% chance effectively to be top tier, so like a 5.7 in like a 4.7 to 5.7 game, and a 75% chance to not be. It's basically that 1/4 of either team has the potential to be top tier in any given match. That doesn't mean they will be, so it can be the case that one team has like 4 top tiers and the other has 2. I don't agree with that, but that's the way it is right now. So it's just the case that you have less chance of being top tier than not, effectively. That's not secret information, by the way. It's always been the case, and you can read about it on the wiki. That's not like a big revelation. Skill has no factor in it whatsoever. I would know. And if it was the case, it's definitely something I would bring up, I think, personally. But no, it has no impact whatsoever. There's no system that measures that right now. Why is Chinese BMP-1 with tandem charge get the same BR of the Russian one? Even though the missile's more powerful, the tank still has exactly the same drawbacks. Like the improved missile on the BMP, you could argue that the tandem is excessive. The regular one on the BMP-1 works really, really well at 7.3. It doesn't need to work any better to have the same advantages. So, up tiering it for the sake of the missile being more powerful may look like it's a good decision on paper, but it wouldn't really be justified. If you can understand, if you can get what I mean. Do you work for War Thunder? I work for Gaijin, yes. I'm currently in the German HQ in Karlsruhe. Sorry. So yes, I do work for War Thunder effectively. Yeah, a lot of it's confirmation bias, I think. It's one of those things that you'll notice when it happens more often. Something I've noticed is that there are some BR where it would be absolutely possible to have the majority of players on both teams. BR. It may seem that way, but there's a lot more that goes into it and what people are playing and where they're being put, and spread out. It could be the case, but there's so much that goes into the way that the matchmaking works in that sense that it's not quite as black and white, and I don't know if I can really kind of go into too many of the details. But with the way that the whole thing is balanced, and if it's the case that hypothetically half the team could be top tier and half could be bottom tier, that's much less fair on the people that are bottom tier. It can't really be the case like that, unfortunately. But I can see the point, and I think there's some room for improvement as always, but I don't know if it's feasible right now. Yeah, this footage will be in the video, I think, in some form. Some bits won't be, so I guess it's like exclusive footage in that sense, but some will be. Sorry if you can hear the ambulance in the background. They hiring? Yeah, I think so. There's some I think marketing positions open, so you could potentially look to getting a position, perhaps. Um, will War Thunder reduce people's smurfing? There's not really any point in doing that in War Thunder. Like every player's matchmaking is the same. Apart well, until you reach a certain level, you get put out of bots. So there's nothing stopping a new player who's on a fresh account from playing in the same way as a level 100 at low tier. It's smurfing is a non-issue. The issue would probably be that new players have to fight experienced players. Maybe there's some room for improvement there. But smurfing as a concept is not really an issue in comparison to how the game kind of works in that sense. You know what I mean? Um, brain's going a bit. Um, what is this? I can't read this. Is this English? No, it isn't. Give me a few seconds. Um, do you play all your War Thunder at the same time, or do you spread out as small rewards throughout the day? What do you mean? Like, I'm not. Do you mean like? Do I play a few games spread throughout the day to kind of stagger my enjoyment with it, or is that what you mean? Sorry, I don't think I'm following entirely. Um, I got 7 kills, no deaths in realistic battle tanks one time. Very nice. That is good. I'm glad to hear. What do you think about the German Phantom? Because I'm close to getting it. I don't really know much about the German Phantom actually. Uh, yes, I was just. I don't actually because I obviously work full time for Gaijin. I can't just play the game in the day. So I do mostly just play it in the evening. But if it's on a weekend, I will play it kind of sporadically. I'll play a few games, do some work, and then you switch it up. Um, Speaking of the German Phantom, though, I do have someone that I can ask about this. I'm on edge right now in terms of what I can what I can do with my signal. Let me see if this will work. I have a plan for your question. I'll see you this. Excuse me. I'll use this opportunity to breathe as well. Hi. What are you doing right now? Okay. Do you want to come in for a second? Someone's asking about how the German Phantom works, and you're more, experienced than me. Go on. Come. Help is on the way. Don't worry. Got you, fam. We're a versatile company, you see. Breathe oxy? Maybe cake. I can certainly try. Although I just forget. Just wait. Hang on. No. Give me several more seconds. The plan will come to. Hello, Emil. How are you doing? I love War Thunder. I'm glad to hear. I do as well. I certainly do as well. Um, Hello, Ruby. How are you? I'm okay. Not doing too bad. I'm forgetting to breathe, but that's sort of me at this point. That's part of my personality. Um, yeah, I'm doing okay. This is tense. Correct. Which tank is that? This is the M26, the Pershing. One of my favorite vehicles of all time. Really, really good. Do love the Pershing. Help has arrived. Come here. Come, come, come. Come, come, come.
Where?
There's not really much room, but sit here. Maybe slide your way over. So, for you who was asking about the German Phantom, scoot over for a second. Over here.
Hello?
Ask about the German.
Dude. This right side is awful. Hello? Annie? Hi? What question? Hello, Chloe? How do you use the German Phantom? Okay. You click the button on it. Like, you literally... You don't have radar missiles, so you kind of can't use radar missiles, right? But you have a 20mm, and you're just literally just lancing out at everything. The moment you see a plane, it's 2 kilometers in front of you, you just hold down the trigger button, right? If it evades in any direction, doesn't matter which direction, you just follow that, right? You have flares, so you actually can do something unless you're the early version, but you're not the early version, right? And you have 4 N9Js, so you just like, you don't go for head-ons with people that have missiles, and you'll have to like kind of learn what the missiles are. But for that, you're like, I mean, you're playing top tier, so you have the vehicles, so you kind of know. So if you see like a Viggen or the American Phantom or the EJ Kai Phantom, then you evade that. But everything else you go head on with. And you try to get your N9Js off, and you shoot a lot of 20mm at everything. People far away, you shoot 20mm. Yes. Hello. The grand reveal, dude. Wouldn't you have guessed that I'm here now? And you're coming back, dude. Yeah, you're sitting down there, dude. Then we can, like, pretend that there's 2 of us. Hello.
Yes. Hello. Rude. Great. Yeah. If you have any like, let me angle this. If you have any like jet questions, now is very much the time
Yes.
to loose them. Because I'm not that sort of well versed in it. This man,
Yes. I play jets.
there is seldom another person better suited for this kind of conversation.
Do something. Dude, I am sitting, Amrik.
F104A, go. What do you got?
F104A. You go back in time by about half a year? 4 patches? Something like that. You go back to the patch where they were introduced. Then you play when the 9.7 lock is in. And you just enjoy the breeze of not having anything that has flares to flare your missiles. And right now you kind of... I mean, you're fast, right? You're faster than most other planes. So that's one thing that you can do. You can sort of energy fight them. You get into a sweet spot speed of about 900 to 1,000. You use the flaps when you turn, because they still don't really rip off. And then the moment you see a J35A that is chasing you, you go away. You just fly away. And if it's chasing you, you keep flying. And if he's not chasing you, then you're good, dude. Then you turn around, because then he's going 400 because he did a turn, right? And then no chance. He doesn't have a chance. The moment he did a turn, it's gone. And that applies to every plane except for a MiG-19. It's the only plane that you cannot just like do a swirl and then, yeah. Yeah. Is this normal? There's like 2 jets that you're looking at, and it's awful.
Yeah.
Like,
so
look at that. Which one am I looking at?
You kind of got to like double up. Look at both.
Yeah, all right. How to stock grind the Mirage 3E? That's a question for you. I don't grind.
That's certainly a question.
I just own things. I don't know, it's been years.
I've barely played the Mirage actually.
See, we need to change that.
Well, soon.
We need to
soon.
change that.
What about the PFM? PFM tips?
PFN tips. You see a plane, you dogfight it. Turn after it, immediately. Right? because you cannot do anything else. Like, what are you gonna do? Launch a missile? It's kind of sad. It doesn't do anything.
Perhaps.
You can launch missiles at people that are stationary. Yeah. Because you better give everyone 50 billion silver lines at 22. At 9-7, of course. Yes. I can give you a firm handshake if we ever meet. How about that? Wouldn't you like that? Yeah. This hand. I give it to you, dude. We can do it together, dude.
How to fight the F5?
Have radar missiles. Radar missile it. Be in a vegan, shoot a radar missile, and have him not launch a radar missile at you. It's perfect. That's how you do it. Then you do it for like 8 hours a day, and then eventually you'll get radar missiles back, and then you're sad. I don't know.
Very
Is
nice.
there an explanation to the higher repair cost? Yes, there is. There is, in fact.
Quite so. Jet
Enough.
question. Is the Jet series of J21 good? You played that one much?
What is the
6-7?
the one?
6-7
Which?
Swedish.
Where is this question? Oh, there. I don't think I've actually ever played that.
It's quite good actually. I quite like it. It's a bit weird, but
It's a plane, I guess.
I think it is. Yeah,
It flies.
I would wager that is correct.
I think so. What else?
Who is this?
I'm new here.
That's not untrue.
It's the truth.
It's objectively
I
correct.
am a German from Germany that streams War Thunder by the name of Copsy, and now I'm here.
Yes,
But now I work here as well.
that he do.
It's
You'll be seeing more of this man, hopefully.
it could very well be possible that I force this man to play Jets in top tier.
Yes.
I don't think he likes it, but he will like it. He will like it. I will make him like it.
We'll see. That was warmer than I anticipated.
But you're out of drink,
I'm out of tea already. That was a really quick sort of tea drinking session.
chugging it. 1 hour, 16 minutes, and 45, 6. Still a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I can usually make it fast though. I'm a bit depressed.
How to play YS? You turn after things. You cry because now other things turn better than you, like the J35A. You go back in time by a year. Perfect. I know, it's one of those plans. Used to be really good. It still sort of is, but the one thing that it had can't really do anymore. Because other plans now take that area, like the J35A. But then you can't really like fight like other plans because you're YS. The Nathan guy.
Oh, more japes, dude. This is what it's
Asking
all
actual
about.
questions to getting bewildered. I can understand that. This is kind of random, you know.
Yeah, like after a while, the chat will devolve into just sort of a mess of disconnected thoughts or vague
Yeah.
insults. You have about an hour and 10 minutes of like decent questions every time, but then it does sort of just melt away, unfortunately.
You should research the T55A and not the ZSU 23. Because the ZSU 23 is an AA gun. What's the point of having an AA gun? You spawn that after you spawn other things, right? Research the thing that you spawned for, so that you can click on people. Not that they click on you and then you're in an AA gun and you're kind of waiting.
That's actually a good question for you. Do you times and the MiG-15 Biz was the top tier jet?
No, because I didn't play the MiG-15 Biz.
You
I
were
played the
Sabre
Hunter.
Wars. Oh yes, I
Played
know
the
you played
Hunter.
the Hunter.
Yeah,
I
dude.
remember when you played
Here,
the Hunter.
let's see. Who here knows? Who here knows? The big quiz. Who here knows about me? I mean, a bunch of people, but the people that don't know, what would you guess? Don't tell it. Don't tell it to the people. Everybody that knows, you need to shut up. You need to. What do you think? How many kills do I have in the Hunter? And I know somebody is gonna spoil it because that's all my community does. 500, 2,500, 2,000, 3,000 plus.
Getting closer.
15,000. It's a little bit too much. It's 4,500. Yes.
Thousands.
And I'm not even the worst one. There's people that did more. Think of that.
It's a hefty amount.
Think of that. I have no clue, Paolo. I just started working here. I don't know anything. I literally I'm innocent. I am a blank piece of paper. But the thing is, right? Even if I knew, would I tell? I don't think so.
Probably not.
Schrödinger's gadget. Is he true? Is he wrong? Nobody will know. But you will also be right and wrong at the same time.
Crazy how it'd be that way.
Yeah. A very spooky thought process.
Attacker FB1 tips. I'm sure you played a lot of that one.
Yeah. Don't spawn it. I think it's actually quite okay now.
Yeah.
There's worse vehicles. Like, it's a little bit fast, and you could do stuff with that. Off-brand Alan, should I buy dog? What your heart desires. Oh, I don't think I can give you finance tips here. Or what is your opinion?
I don't really know. I have like, I think I have like, how much? It's like 12k Dogecoin on like a USB stick that my friend got. Like I bought it for my friend for like £10, like in secondary school. I don't know where that is now.
Octillionaire soon. That's...
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I've uploaded like 4 years ago. I have dude, I have the sickest video on there. I spawn in the E100 and I do a triple backflip. It's amazing. It's 4 years old, and since then nothing happened. But that's on there.
There we go.
It's crazy.
Will we see more YouTube content in the future?
Maybe.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
A possibility.
I've said that like half a year ago, and then I didn't do it. But now I have an excuse why I didn't do it. Except for that half a year ago, I didn't know that this would happen. You're gonna see Twitch though. Audio's getting cut out. Unlucky.
It's probably because we're quite far
Like,
away.
yeah, I'm like a million miles away. I could do this, you know, like, hello, I'm right here. But no, I want to sit in the corner and lay back in the chair. Next time you're gonna have crisp audio because we will set it up. But he literally just called me in, like,
Yeah.
like legit. He just called, like, I'm sitting there in the office, right, and I'm like talking, and then he just like, he actually just called me, dude. Like, just like, hello, Jan, would you like to come over? Like, huh? Crazy guy.
Crazy. Oh, can you explain why the Jumbo is at 6.3?
It's armored. People cannot handle it. How often do you see people that see a vehicle and go, shoot? A lot. A lot of them. literally all the time. People see a weak spot and then purposefully not shoot that.
Pretty much.
Like, literally. Play the T26 E5. Learn about it. It's the perfect vehicle to figure it out. Nobody shoots the weak points. Nobody.
It's a very good vehicle at the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy good.
Fun to drink. We haven't really gone out drinking yet, have we? Well, we did once, but like 4 years ago. Been a long time. Soon.
Yeah, soon. With a corona-free Germany, probably. So a lot of Russian in the chat as well.
It does sort of go in that area after a while.
Hello, Dima. I have no clue what you're saying. Or do you?
No idea.
Opinion on the B18 as a fighter. It flies. Actually, never used it. Literally.
It's quite easy for what it is, I think.
Is it?
Yeah.
Good.
Come on.
It's me. You're gonna see more of me, but I think for now I will leave this man to solo the rest of this, because it's kind of confusing me to look at two different chats, and half of them are like non-questions
Yes.
because everyone's like, "Whoa, it's me."
Who is he?
Dude, you learned last week. Why are you surprised? Had my cameo for like literally a minute.
Yes.
Yeah, I will leave you in the competent hands of this man.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in,
Yes.
helping with the questions.
Great answering. Yes.
Yes.
Dude, I'm like destroying this.
You've annexed the curve.
Like I literally just almost yeeted this green screen away.
That would have been amazing, though.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Great content. There's a random fork. No,
A knife.
it's a knife.
I use that to stir the tea because the spoons don't fit in the thermos.
Oh.
So I had to use that. But anyway, thank you for coming by. Much appreciated. You'll be seeing more of this man soon. I will see you later.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very nice, yes. So yes, that was one of the most established War Thunder players in the world, pretty much, not to sort of mince words, who now works with us as well. You'll be seeing a lot more of this man's. Hopefully the audio is a bit better now. I can also put on some more gameplay. Hold up. How about some planes? Never heard of him, lol. That's perfectly fine. You'll hear about him now. Streams on Twitch. Kopsy. Give him a look. He streams in the evening. I don't know if he will this week. But he's very, very good to watch if you want to learn some stuff. Absolutely. Would Iran be added? Probably not as its own tree. Maybe Iranian vehicles will be added, but I really doubt it will have its own nation. Tell us the secrets of being handsome. I mean, I'm not, so I look a bit weird, so I don't think I can really assist in that. But you know, if I ever find out, I'll be sure to let you know. I feel like for 6-3 the Jumbo's armor is kind of and the gun is much better. It's not really as simple as dissecting those attributes. The armor is good because still people can't just point and click on it most of the time. It's still going to bounce a lot of shots. The stabilizer means you can land the first shot accurately on whatever you fight, apart from the Centurions. You meet those in an up tier. I think, like I said this in a few streams ago, but I almost prefer the 76 Jumbo now at 6.3 rather than 6.0 because it means that, in 7.3, pretty much all of the new vehicles apart from the Centurions and T-54 are squishy. You have the Mardas, the BMPs, the Leopard. So the vehicles that you fight are diluted to the point where you're now fighting less, fewer vehicles that are heavily armored. So it does work decently well there. And because of its reactability, its mobility, and fast fire rate, you can, knock out a BMP in one shot. You can disable the barrel of a Tiger and Tiger 2, for example. So it's pretty good, and there's a lot more going for it than I think people do give it credit for. I've probably not answered your night battle question because you've either asked it 10 times in a row and I filtered that out, or I just haven't seen it. What was your question? Why not M82 for late American 90mm? I mean, they all have it apart from the long 90, which has T14, which is basically the same thing but a shell suited for the gun. So it is basically M82, but by a different name from what I understand. Although I'm not incredibly well versed in how those the sort of lexicography, but the sort of the nomenclature of the rounds work. Night battles on an off switch? Maybe. I don't really know what the plans are for that. It's I mean, I strictly work in marketing, so any kind of gameplay choice like that is not really up to me. I can't really say whether that's a consideration, whether it'll come or whether it won't. I can sort of have an opinion or assume, but it's nothing I can really speak in absolutes on, and it's one of those things that doesn't really have much value if I can say yes or no, it has value, but as a kind of question, I mean, my perspective is as good as yours, so. M82 late is only on 7.0 short 90. Do you mean on the bat chats gun? Because, yeah. Do you think it should be added? Probably for the later, I think. Well, it depends, really. I think right now it probably wouldn't work with how the game's set up. But if there were certain changes made, then perhaps it could be the case. It would require, I think in general, it's something that I would be a fan of, but I think it requires other things to happen first. I don't think the game is really suited for that to be an on and off switch right now, but in the future, if certain things happen, it is probably would be a beneficial change. Where is my Death Star, Gaijin? You still have the G8 N1. It's a vintage meme at this point. But yes. My hair is awesome, not gonna lie. It isn't though, is it? It's just hair. I mean, I appreciate it. I'm not trying to kind of backhand that compliment, but don't know, my hair is just a bit weird. I'm not really a fan. Are night battles available for medium low tiers? I don't believe so, no. I've never really got one, at least not recently anyway. Sort of strictly for the higher tier matches. Please add B-52 Bob Simple Tank or D-Point, please. Maybe, we'll see. Do you call Gaijin Gaiju but not on stream? No, I mean, we use lots of interchangeable names. Maybe both. But Bane, yeah, I will be uploading the tier 4 video. It will be ready within a week, but I need to finish a couple of other things first. I can't release it yet, but when certain other things are completed, I will, and hopefully it won't be too much longer. I hope. Love War Thunder. I'm glad that you do. I'm very glad you do. I love it too. It's a very, very good game. Has its flaws, but if you approach it right, it can be a really, really nice experience. Why did War Thunder disappear from my Gaijin launcher? I'm not sure. It's not really I don't really use the Gaijin launcher or the net agent thing. Please send friend request. I don't think I will do that, but we can be friends if you add me, I guess. When will A10 Thunderbolt be added? I have no idea. Maybe it will be added soon, maybe it won't be added at all. Imperial or metric? I mean, whatever one you like, really. I mean, it's no one's place to gatekeep things like that. That's the best non-answer I could think of. Um, Reach rank 4 on Mossad. Yeah, it will be done soon. I might end up releasing it twice. One when it's complete, well, one when it's finished, and one when it's something else happens. But yeah, it shouldn't be too long either way. Hopefully, it wouldn't take too long. My brain just gets bored with the sentence and it just kind of like floats off. And I end up just sort of gibbering. Very nice. I'm glad you like the gameplay. Yeah, this is all just sort of me getting B-roll and stuff. Amir, the Macavers will stay in the American tree, but they'll probably be added again in the Israeli tree. So there'll be two of them effectively. I would wager. The M46, M47, M48, and Char have the M84, M82 late. I don't know if that's really the case. I think they all use the same round. It's just the M46 and 47 and 48 use the longer 90, so the penetration is larger. I mean, that's how I understand it anyway. I mean, it's not that the round's different, it's just that the gun that fires it is different, so the ballistics are slightly different as well. Yeah, like Bruiser is weird like that. It's a very kind of early view of what those actors could do. And yeah, so it's very, very different. It's quite. There's a lot of the skits that are just real. I wouldn't say out of touch, but they're sort of out of line with what was comedic at the time. Like there's some really deadpan scenes and things that just sort of are kind of weird, but I like that about it. So yeah, it's really good. I really do like Bruiser actually. Got a lot of winners. The Israeli premiums, if you bought them in any respective tree, they'll stay there. But they like basically, it's less that they'll be moved to that tree, but they will be duplicated and moved and well not moved, messing up my own explanation. They will be duplicated and appear in the Israeli tree, and they'll be hidden in the trees they already exist in if you don't own them, basically. I wish ARB didn't have markers on enemies. In theory, it's a nice idea, but in practice, it would really stagger the flow of the match. And I think you want that, but in practice, you probably wouldn't. It would work. Excuse me. It works in ground RB because the maps are much smaller, so it's less tedious to find an enemy. In air RB, where the maps are much bigger, it really would not be fun. Alex, it's weird you say that. Somebody wanted to make one of those, but I convinced them not to. I don't think it would be that great, if I'm honest. Well, I would not like it. I'm not good at that kind of thing. Can you turn fight in the DO335? You can, but it's very difficult to win. You can though, because the wing area is quite large. You can turn fight, but you need to be really confident with it, and there are some things you can't do it with. It's not impossible, but it's still not the best approach, I think. After Israel, what country will be added next? No idea. Maybe there won't be another one. You know, it might be the case that Israel's the last one, but I don't know, honestly. I'm really not sure. My brain just gave up. It went somewhere else. Oxy Brazilian tech tree is real? No. Probably we'll never see a Brazilian tree, I would wager. It's more likely that we'd see some Brazilian vehicles in other trees, but I really doubt they'd get their own tech tree. I want Oxy X mic art. No, you don't. Absolutely not. Um, India, maybe? Again, I think probably not, I would say. What's your favorite minor nation? Um, I don't know, really. I don't really like. Because the thing is, I don't really play this game in the way that other people play it. In that, like, I basically just play to complete stuff. I play to get things spaded and, like, get all the camos. So I don't really play any nation because I like their vehicles or because I want to play it. I just kind of play what I need to play to finish stuff. So I don't know if I could really give a good answer to that. Um, Torque modification of the Focke-Wulf 190. It'd be nice to see. I mean, they could make the naval versions of the Focke-Wulf, the 109, the Stuka, and stuff. That could be pretty nice. I would like to see that, but I don't know if it's something being worked on right now. But it would be nice because those vehicles are pretty cool. Will they add AC 130? Probably not for a very long time, if ever. I would say on that one. Will World War One vehicle be add? I don't think so. We'd probably, I mean, maybe World War One planes, but I really don't think it's a possibility. They're not really something that they seem like they would work in theory, and I think like Battlefield One and stuff gave like an unfair representation of how the vehicles would realistically work. But in a game like this, they wouldn't really have much ability to function. Um, how do you grind the duck? Do you mean get the modifications for it? Pretty much just play AirRB and go for ground targets until you get the AP rounds, and then you can do whatever you like. How do you play the Panther? Which one? And while you answer that, I'm going to get some water because, as you can hear, my throat's dying. Ooh. I am back. It took me a while because I didn't do anything else. Lol. Yes, hello, I'm back again. help from Dubai. Are you okay? Or do you mean hello? If you mean hello, hi. If you need help, what's up? What panther were you talking about? That's what it was about. Panther A. Well, the main thing to keep in mind with the Panther A really is that, well, the only thing you need to mitigate is the side armor. It's a vehicle that can work at close and long range, more so long range. But you can brawl with it as well if you're, well, relatively confident with it. But the thing that gets the Panther killed is the reverse gear and the side armor. And at close range, both of those things are more exploitable. The gun will pretty much work reliably, even in up tiers. But yeah, it's a difficult tank to really explain in that sense because it's not very niche. It's quite a kind of general, versatile vehicle in that you can kind of just take it to a good spot and click on stuff. So in that sense, it's difficult to really say play it like this, don't play it like this. The only thing to really talk about is the disadvantages to kind of mitigate. You always need to make sure to never show much of your side armor. You can show a sliver, like a real sliver, but nothing. You can't angle like a tiger with it. You need to angle a little bit less. But you can a tiny bit. That should be employed at long range or close range. You also need to be careful that you're not in too close proximity to an enemy because you can't really side scrape, you can't drive out from around corners very safely, and if an enemy gets even a slight angle on you, you're pretty much dead. So that's the one thing to be careful of. Putting it in an area that can potentially cover a lot of different sight lines is the way I like to play it, because it's a vehicle that reloads decently fast. Okay, it reloads okay. And because the turret traverse is so quick, you can easily cover different areas quite quickly. So that's what I do with it anyway. So I would avoid close range if you can. It certainly is stronger at long range. And be constantly mindful of your side armor. And apart from that, it's quite an easy vehicle to use. Everything else just kind of, falls into place. So play it a couple of times, put it wherever you like, but keep the side armor in mind. And if you can do that and actively pay attention to where the enemies are, that's pretty much the best advice I can give for it. It is quite a general vehicle in that sense. Is the P51 Canon Stang balanced in your opinion? I haven't used it for a fairly long time, but I never really saw any issues with it either or. It's it's a kind of, it's one of those sort of jack of all trades, master of none kind of vehicles. If employed to both strengths, or to either strength in the right situation, it can be really powerful. But it's another vehicle that's easy to misplay because it's quite heavy. So if an enemy gets on your tail and you're on low energy, there's not really much ability to kind of get away from that. In some vehicles, you can escape from that kind of situation, but it's a little bit harder for that one. But I like it. The P51 A in the British tree was, I think, the first premium I ever bought. I think it was, actually. I can't remember. I think it was the first premium that I bought. I remember asking my dad if I could sort of use his account to get it. So I do like it in either way. It's a very nice one. Why can't we watch Oxy play a live game? Because I want to kind of focus on answering questions in this one. If I were to play the game right now, that would probably take up a lot of my mental capacity. So, it would be kind of like taking a half measure. Maybe like okay gameplay and okay conversation. I'd rather kind of commit to one specifically. A36 best loadout. It depends on what you want to do with it. If you want to go ground attacking in tank matches, then the bombs are pretty okay. You don't need the extra 50 cals. If you want to ground strike in ARB, the gun pods can work pretty well at destroying pillboxes and light targets. It depends on what you want to do with it. Why was M22 lost the ability to scout? Because it's a tier 1 and not a tier 2. Only tier 2 vehicles and above can scout. The reason being, I think that because most vehicles in tier 1 are are light tanks, it would kind of not really, everyone could scout everyone. So that's, it's not indicative of the game going forward, and I think it's not really a good representation of how, of how matches play. So I think that's pretty much the reason why. When bigger bomb load for the BV-138? Could it carry one? I know it could carry naval mines, I think, so maybe we'll see that in the future, but I don't know if it will get a bigger bomb load. I don't know too much about it, to be honest. Do you think the M8A1 should be brought to tier 2? Yeah, I don't see why not. I think there's a couple of vehicles like that could be moved up. I think the M46 Tiger should be moved up to rank 5. Because, I mean, it was added at a time when there weren't any rank 5 premiums, and so it couldn't be one. But now there are rank 5 premiums, it makes no sense to be rank 4 when the identical copy is rank 5 in the tech tree. Kind of makes it, invalidates it as a product, so would be nice to see. Would be nice to see. Do you prefer Iron Armenian or Fly Daily? I don't really watch content creators in that kind of sense. I mean, I watch them for kind of work to see what they're up to and stuff. But casually, I don't really watch many of them anymore. And I think pretty much every content creator does well with their style. And I mean, Iron and Fly do different things, and they play to their own strengths in that respect in their respective areas. And obviously, I can't even if I had like an absolute opinion, I can't sit here and say I like either worse than the other one. But I think they're they both do well at what they do. So bit of a non-answer, but I like them both. The M46 Tiger is worse than the Tech Tree one. Doesn't have the heat shield. I think the heat shield is such a tiny advantage that it doesn't really factor in very much. It doesn't really defeat much armor, like many rounds, and it makes the silhouette much more noticeable. I mean, it does have use. I mean, it works against Hesh and some chemical rounds, but not really. I mean, in that sense, it is better, but it's not. Not to a huge degree, I think. But I know what you mean. Like, I'm not trying to discount your point entirely. I think there are factors to it, but I don't think it's a huge one. Why are so many Soviet and Russian tanks got bad gun depression? Well, they were designed to fight in battlefields that were very flat, so they didn't really need much of it, I think is the reason why, ultimately. Can I still buy the E100? Nope. Unless you have like 2,000 euros. Do you think we'll see drones at some point? No idea. I would probably say no, but it's one of those things that it's too early to say either way. Maybe it's something that can come to the game in like 5 years, but right now I would say no, but things change. Which button allows my tank commander to smoke in the tank? It should be in your keybinds if it's set to something weird. There's the ESS smoke for the engine smoke, and then the smoke grenades. They're two separate buttons. They should be there. No events that easy to light gamer? What do you mean? Do you mean there are no events that are good for someone who plays casually? Not sure what you mean. So much Russian in the chat today. What's this about? Can't answer any of these. War Thunder ever come to Nintendo Switch? Don't know. Probably not, but I have no idea. Hello, Mr. Napalm. How are you doing? How are you? Will there be more BR changes coming this year now the patch is dropped? I guess there's probably going to be one more, but I don't know. There'll be, yeah, I'd say probably, but I'm not sure. Don't say there's a promise, so I can't say that. Any tips for grinding tanks with stock APCR? Yeah, well, obviously capping points and scouting is good. I would also make sure that you track stuff. Go for the tracks. Even like machine gunning the tracks can work really, really well. You'll usually get an assist with that, and the APCR is really bad at killing, but it's good at getting assists. So I would stick with a teammate because you're going to want to rely on getting those assists more than kills. So I would just kind of pick a strong teammate to stay with and help them. Really, it's machine gun tracks, shoot out tracks, shoot out barrels, that kind of thing, and then once you have the enemy disabled in some way, you can work on picking them apart, and that's really the easiest way to get points with APCR, and that's what I did when I used to have to get those tanks out. Why Leopard L44 is on 30 and not 50? Because all tier 6 premiums are on 30 and everything below is 50. What is, in your opinion, the hardest tank to play? I don't really know. I don't think I can really answer that on preference. I'd probably just say a vehicle that's incredibly niche, like the Type 60 ATM or the... I don't know. Every vehicle is workable in its own way, but it's just that some are in worse areas, I guess. My eyes are going a bit. Might put my glasses on. Do you use any sound mods when you play? I don't really play with sound unless I'm recording. I don't really like having the sound on when I play games. I usually just listen to something in the background while I'm doing it. So I don't really have much in relating to sound. How are you today? I'm okay. I'm not doing too bad. How are you? Are we going to see a Dozer Blade on one of the low tier Shermans? I think probably in the future we'll see some on the lower tier vehicles. But I don't know if and when that's going to happen. But I think we probably will. Probably will. I will go for maybe like 10, 15 minutes longer. I do need to leave early today because I need to go home with someone. The landlord's bringing someone, I think, to look around my flat. So I need to be there a bit early. What music do you like? I don't really dislike any music. The only music I don't really like is any like metal-y stuff. Metal music and like really loud music is something that I've never been able to gel with. Everything else is pretty good. It's just like the metal stuff, I've never been able to empathize with it. But everything else, I kind of like. Mostly kind of like, I don't know, more kind of indie stuff I like because they sing about more interesting things. A couple of rap artists I like, not very many. It's mostly kind of indie, the indie kind of scene I like a bit more. But it's less a case of like trying to, say there's one genre that I really don't like or whatever. But I like music from all over, but not really metal, I guess, is the only thing I don't like. What do you think about Sabaton? Like, I don't mean to be mean or whatever, but I find Sabaton kind of cringy. I can't take it seriously when I listen to it. It just makes me laugh. It's like I can't listen to it and think, well, this is badass. It's just like, not for me. But, more power to you if you can enjoy it. I mean, Um, I don't want to say like, you're cringy if you like it. I mean, if you can enjoy something I can't, then you win. It's just not for me. I think it's not the kind of music. The reason I don't like it, I guess, is that I don't like music that sings too bluntly about a topic. With a lot of Sabaton, it's just like, yeah, tanks, yeah, planes, whoa, cool, and it's just I can't really get anything from that. It's like I don't know, it's not really very interesting to me, and I'm not really a fan. Um, Not really a fan. Mm. Why do console players not get discounts in the market? Because the discounts on console are not designed by us. They need to go through Sony and Microsoft, and they get the final say on when the sales happen and what they consist of, generally speaking. So it's not, it's not on us really. Will you play today? Not. Well, I'll probably play a bit when I get home, but not on stream. I think. Sabaton is not for everyone. Yes, that is basically what I said, and I agree. It certainly is not. There's no need to be defensive about me disliking Sabaton. That's fine. I mean, there's no need to bring the ego up in that. It's all okay. That's a very funny way to take it, though. That's quite funny. Um, why German got little update? What do you mean? I still love you too. Absolutely. We are very much allowed to like different things. Uh, oh, fine. I'll do a page out of the bloody joke book. Fine. On Twitch, you can redeem channel points, and we'll read some Minecraft jokes. So sorry about that. Okay. I'm just sad. They just made it fine. Why is it so hard for ocelots to hide in Minecraft? Because they're always spotted. You get it? Because they have spots on. That's actually the thing is that's a joke. That is a joke. It's awful, but it is a joke. Some of these just aren't jokes. So we're already off to a strong start. Strong start for a book like this. Why did the cow cross the road? To get to the other side. You see, back to back actual jokes. Awful jokes, but they're still jokes. Some work went into that. So, 2 for 2 right now. And this one is just back to statements. Funny joke. Funny joke. Why why are some Minecraft cows musical? They make a sound like a kazoo, is the answer to that. What does that mean? Even if they did make a sound like that, it's not like a joke because there's no punchline. There's nothing to say, oh, yes, they do. Ha 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 ha. It's just a statement. It's meaningless. I can't get anything from that. Do you know what I mean? Like some of these you can kind of riff, but there's nothing to get from that. It's just a statement and it's basically wrong. Okay, how do wolves eat rotten flesh and raw chickens? It's not even they wolf them down is the punchline, but it's not. It's not a Minecraft joke. It's just. It's like yeah, it's the word. It's the words the same. Classic comedy moment. But come on now, we can do better than that. Why did the chicken cross the road? We just did cows. We just did cows. You can't put the chicken back on. He was following the player carrying seeds as the answer, but it's like, I mean, it's relevant to Minecraft and you can respect them for that, but I just don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what to do. Why did the player cry wolf? He was looking for his dog. Am I stupid? Where's... I'm going to put the book down now. Thanks for that. Hello. How are we all doing today? I think I had to reset my brain a bit. Well, we need to get through the book. There's no way to stop halfway through. We need to go through all the way. Need to go through all the way. Your haircut looks good. Thank you. I mean, it's much better than the kind of homeless vibe I had before. Still not great, but I mean, it's less garbage now, so that's something. Doing good? I'm very glad to hear. How to become a good player? Oh, the most loaded question. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to tell you, you're already a very good player. But I mean, a lot of it just comes down to playing the game. I think there's so many factors involved. The biggest thing for tanks really is map knowledge, and for aircraft, it's just getting to grips with the controls. I think would probably be my two big things for either or. Because with tanks, if you know where to put your vehicle, there's like an adage of a good player can make a bad tank work in a good spot, and a bad player will struggle to make a good tank work in a bad spot. So it's really just knowing where to put your vehicle that aligns to its strengths, and from there, if you can click your mouse button very good, primo. But there's lots to go into it. Lots to go into it. It's a very difficult thing to answer quickly, I guess. But that's map knowledge is probably my biggest thing, I think, for tanks especially. And for aircraft, it's your lead. It's understanding energy and using your keyboard. Excuse me. Oh. You look like a drummer in a high school band. Okay. I mean, that's quite a vague analysis. I can't really disagree with that. Let's go for a bit longer, because I do need to leave a bit early today. Do a couple more questions. And then we will go. What's the lowest BR jet? The one that was just on screen. The P-59. Very nice plane. Him and Flory were look like brothers. Who is this person? I'm unfamiliar with this name. Good afternoon, SMR Fisher. How are you? Why don't we have the AM9L in the game? We have it in the game, just on the AH-1Z. If it was on a lot of the jets right now, oh, man, that would not go very well. Will there be another chance to pick up the Russian BI? I don't think so. Not in the usual sense. Maybe in a very, very limited way, like a tournament reward or something, but because it's on the marketplace in coupon form, it probably won't be earnable again, I would say. I'm being hassled. Work message. Please. What do you want, man? The internet in this room is really slow, so I can barely see what I'm doing. Can't you often see what I'm doing? Bastard 4G. Oh well. Okay. What's the fastest plane at 2.7? Not sure, honestly. I mean, generally speaking, it's not the best idea to kind of look at top speed and use that as the sole indicator, because there are some vehicles with really high top speeds that rarely ever meet it. So a better way to look at it would probably be the plane that holds the fastest average speed. And I don't know what that really would be, to be honest. Not sure. I'm not too familiar in terms of like getting that information for lower tier stuff. If War Thunder gave the opportunity to add one vehicle or mechanic, what would you want to see? I think the main thing I want to see in the game is a kind of mastery system. So for every vehicle, you could have like, I don't know, once you have it spaded, you, I don't know, get given like a list of like 5 things to complete, like get 200 kills, get 10 5-kill matches, cap 50 points, or like you're in a TD, I don't know, like bounce 200 shots, whatever. And once you do that, you either get like a special camo for it, like a special camo scheme, or like a little star in the leaderboard next to the vehicle, so everyone knows that they see you in battle, like this person's good at playing this thing. And I like that. So like imagine an ARB or whatever, like you see a 109 and it has like a little star next to it, and you're like, that player really knows what they're doing. I like that because it will basically reinvent every single vehicle, and anyone can kind of really make the vehicle they like the most stand out, and it would give people so much more to do. And I think it's why Wargaming, their idea of like doing the like the mastery with like the barrel rings and stuff, it's such a good idea. I really, really think it's a good idea, and being able to use that in some way, or like the same concept, I think it's a really good idea. I mean, if you're a player that has like almost all of the game finished, you've nearly spaded everything, you can go back and really make sure that you have everything cracked. And I think that's the one thing I would love this game to have, because it's a game already that has a huge amount of content, and imagine basically doubling that effectively. That would be great. Like a way to show that you really know what you're doing in a vehicle is something that I think a lot of people are really kind of responsive to, and I would love to see that. Really, really love to see that. Yeah, Validus, absolutely. I'm glad you agree. Yeah, that's probably the thing I'd like to see the most, I think. Absolutely. Air in my eyes. Couple more. I think I will vacate today. Couple more emails to do. And also need to buy some bread. I'm developing a game like War Thunder. Soon you'll have a great competitor. Glad to hear it. Do your best. Can't ask for anything more. Sounds like a very big undertaking. If it's something you're dedicated to, by all means, give it your best shot. Bread. Every stream, the Binyot voice will happen at least once. We could burn it, but I'd rather give it away. So like when we finish reading through the entire book, we could probably, because I've written in it, I usually like doodle in it and just write stupid stuff. We can give it away to someone or something. We may be able to do that. Anyway, one more question. Let's go. And I will let you get on with the rest of your day, because I'm very sleepy. And I need to get home soon, which is a bit annoying, but Ow. See, I do like Sweden because its vehicles don't play very much like the vehicles in other nations. The gun depression really lets you use a lot of other areas of the map. And man, the mid-tier APHE is just chef's kiss, dude. Absolutely lovely. Sweden has some really interesting vehicles, some really interesting play styles. I really do like it. Please check out Flurry Worry. You look so similar, it's unreal. I'll Google it right now. Okay? If it turns out to be, I don't know, Cat Weasel, then we'll see. I don't think I've ever looked more dissimilar to someone. I don't really see it at all, I think. Um, I mean, I'm really, really struggling here. But, sure, I guess. I have no idea who that is. Oxy looks like a rock band shy guitar player. I don't know. Maybe that's the vibe. I do look like I've escaped from some like backwater like noughties band, which is probably not a good thing. Yeah, I look more similar, kind of. I guess. Yeah, very handsome man we have in the chat here. Absolutely, absolutely. Can you answer my question, please? I will answer your question. What is your question? Hello, is there any explanation why shells that are already released from the gun, but in the meantime the breach? Because the animation of the gun firing happens before the server registers if you fired. So basically, you will fire the gun, the animation will play, but what's happening is that your gun is being disabled by the enemy hitting you before the round actually leaves. So there's a sort of there is not a parallel of the animation playing of the round firing, and the server actually registering what's happening. So if there's a ping difference between you and your opponent, it will sometimes come about that will play before the actual outcome of what's physically happening. So it's a differentiation there. It's annoying. I can appreciate that. Maybe we can do some work to help it in the future, but that's why it's happening. It's not that you've actually fired, you haven't actually fired, but it's showing you that you have, and it's the visual display that's incorrect. Like you're not being cheated out of a shot. It's that you never actually fired in the first place. I think is the best way to look at it. It is annoying, but you know what I mean. I am not a dev. Nope. I do many things for Gaijin, but developing is not one of them. Okay. Yes, official Gaijin big boy. That's on my resume. Although I'm not that large. I'm quite sort of small in general, I think. Okay, I said I'd answer one more question a long time. One more question a long time. Oh, my chest. Ooh. That's not a noise I like to hear coming from my ribcage. Yeah, Johnny, basically it's that's what it is. So yeah, sorry, I can appreciate it's annoying. I'm not trying to say, just shut up and deal with it. It's not my perspective, but yeah. Please, can you answer my question? Possibly to see the P43 Biz or the P3043. Are those the concept Italian tanks? If they were never built, then probably not, no. But I don't know. I'm not familiar with those vehicles. If they existed and they were built entirely, then maybe there's a possibility. But if they were purely mock-ups or concept vehicles, then it's not going to happen, I think. Okay, I really will do one more this time. Really will do one more. And then I vacate. Don't know why I'm doing this, but I've committed now, so there's no stopping it. I will really do one more. That one doesn't count, but I will do one more. Promise. This was a fun fight in the K4 actually with that Spitfire. If that was a better player, I guess he would have destroyed me. But the 109s really can dogfight. You can like the F4 can beat Spitfires, but the heavier ones can't really. But you need to be really really careful with that. But the 109s are decently agile, relative to what they are. But it's it's certainly not their strong point, but it's still possible. And I really like the 109s for that. 109s are really really fun. They're really fun planes. Gorgeous to fly, really versatile. Like 109 is one of those like aircraft I'm not really like afraid of anything while playing it. Wasn't Martellus in the stream chat earlier? I think that's me shooting him down. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, not the best kill, but I thought I recognized that name actually. Sorry. Anyway. Okay, what's the best way to start grinding a country? Play all of tier 1 and spade every vehicle in tier 1. Sorry, like, sorry, that was a very scuffed kill on there. But nice to see you. Thanks for coming by. Sorry. Play every vehicle in tier 1, spade every vehicle in tier 1. Be quite general with it and make sure you have a good baseline to make a starting lineup and go from there. That's pretty much what I would go with. So I think my brain just gave up. I don't know why my brain gave up. Why do I need to stop psychoanalyzing myself in the middle of streaming? That's bad. Sorry. Yeah, play rank 1, spade everything. Don't rush too heavily because you want a good foundation to actually, well, make some good lineups with. Like the lineups are the most important thing. If anything is well, I think a line that I ripped from my own video is that lineups are pretty much the most, like if anything's overpowered in this game, it's lineups. And making a good starting lineup is really important. So that's what I would do. Go through everything, spade it, and then when you push into tier 2, make sure that you're not progressing too quickly. Because if you do that, you'll have unbalanced lineups, and if you lineups are the best thing about this game, really, in terms of the tools that you have, because it lets you be agile. If you only have TDs in your lineup or only light tanks, you'll get put into a situation where those vehicles don't work, and then, the game will punish you for that. If you have a versatile lineup of, SPA, CAS aircraft, light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks, that's not always applicable for every nation and every BR, but if you can make a good kind of pairing of all of that, you are the best equipped for every situation you'll find yourself in. And so that's why it's a good foundation. That's what I'd stick with. Okay. That's, why am I doing this? That's, the best, my brain has given up. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. I think I've just run out of calories and I can't think about words anymore. So I think it's a good opportunity to say goodbye for today. Sorry if I haven't got to your question. By all means, come back next Monday and ask it again. I will try and get to it this time. I try to read everything, but I can't always see all the questions. But I try my best. Anyway, yeah. I hope you all have a lovely week. And yeah, I'm very bad at goodbyes. Sorry. Really not my strong suit, as well as many other things. But thank you all for coming by. It's nice to see you all here. I appreciate it a lot. And I will see you on Thursday. Have a lovely week.